The life of Christ. 12. The Sermon on the Mount. Matthew 5, 6, and 7. Luke 6, 20 through 38. The Beatitudes. Matthew 5, 1 through 10. Special blessings to persecuted believers. 11 and 12. Woes upon the self-complacent and greedy of worldly flattery. Luke 6, 24 and through 26, believers described as salt of the earth and light of the world. Matthew 5, 13 through 16, meaning of these metaphors. He rebukes the low mechanical morality of the Jews of that age, 17 through 48, divine character and perpetuity of the moral law of the Old Testament. Well, he didn't call it the Old Testament. He said this is what we need to restore. But 17 through 19, insufficiency of the formal righteousness of the Pharisees. Well, the conservativeness is probably a better way to put it, because all the extra interpretations. Murder, adultery, and such sins are not merely the outward act, but in the hatred and lust of the heart, the crime of easy divorce. 20 through 32. Profanity, more extensive than verbal utterance of oath. Simplicity of speech enjoined. 33 through 37. Retaliation forbidden. Concession to foes recommended. 38 through 42. Actually, no. It's that when you're being abused, you make clear, if you can make clear that someone's mistreating you, then you make that clear. Being struck on one cheek and the other, and, this means that, the person who's doing it makes a spectacle of themselves. It's not like, I was struck, and then you just... Because then it would just be, I believe it at that, right? Enemies, as well as friends to be loved. 43 through 47. A purpose of perfect assimilation to the divine character required. 48. Ostentatious performance of religious duties. Benevolent deeds should be quiet and private. 6, 1 through 4. Individual prayer to be offered secretly and with simple sincerity and directness. The model prayer, the spirit in which we are to pray. 5 through 15. Fasting private and between the individual and God. 16 through 18. Treasure in heaven and not on earth. Singleness of purpose indispensable. 19 through 24. Reliance on God to supply our wants. All real needs providentially met, illustrated by the feeding of the birds and the array of the grass and the flowers. Man dearer to God than any of these. 25 through 32. The true method of life. 33 and 34. Charity and carefulness in condemning others. We are to scrutinize our own character first. 7, 1 through 5. Circumspection in counseling others. 6. The assured effectiveness of prayer. God's affection prompts him to give what is needed. 7 through 11. The golden rule. Necessity of intense diligence in seeking the way of truth. Definiteness and exclusiveness of this way. False teachers to be avoided. 12 through 15. A good character to be known by its effects. A good heart incompatible with bad actions. Profession versus practice. And the result. 21 through 23. Christ's words, the only foundation. They must, however, enter into the life and not merely the intelligence. 24 through 27. Well, if he was a Christ or Messiah, and particularly people thought him to be a prophet, then his teachings were, exactly the guidance that the people of the time would have needed, right? Of course, this is overstepped by, he was confirming the other prophets and restoring their message, but, that had been corrupted by, as we see, the Pharisees, and on the other hand, so basically, in short, the conservatives and the liberals were messing up the fundamentals of the faith. and Jesus came to restore them. Effect of this teaching upon the populace, verses 28 and 29.